Things are heating up with the Dodgers and Kyle Tucker. LA has officially met with the star free agent. We've got the details. Also, is the door back open for Cody Bellinger? And Alex Bergman is a Chicago Cub. I'm going to tell you how that impacts the Dodgers. We also are going to talk some more Andy Ibanez. 5 things you need to know about the newest Dodger, how it impacts the 40-man roster, how it impacts Kike Hernandez, and finally, the rally Coyote at Dodger Stadium. That's coming up next on Dodgers Dugout Live.
It's time for Dodger baseball.
Welcome to Dodger Stadium.
This is the golden age of Dodger baseball. The Dodgers are building a dynasty.
You got it, Warrior Parade. We got it, Parade. The Dodgers punch back and head to the championship series. Starts the 50-50 clock. Mookie Magic. Freeman hits the ball to right field. She is gone. Start the party, Los Angeles. Your Dodgers have won the World Series.
Think blue, bleed blue, and I'm out.
Live from the heart of Los Angeles, this is Dodgers Dugout Live with your host, Doug McKain.
What is up, Dodgers Nation, and welcome to another episode of Dodgers Dugout Live, the #1 Dodgers podcast and Dodgers show on YouTube. My name is Doug McKain. I cover the Dodgers for Dodgers Nation, a credentialed member of the media. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMAC_LA. This show is brought to you by the LA Sports Report. That's my new show dedicated to all LA sports, as well as GearUp.LA, the official merchandise store here at Dodgers Nation. This is a live chat. We got producer Big Dog Rob rocking with us today, and he's looking for all your takes, all of your fire takes. He's looking for your comments of the show. He's looking for your thoughts, comments, and questions about all things Dodger baseball. So we'll feature those later on the 7th inning stretch, as well as give out a comment of the show. Make us laugh, make us think, give us hot takes. All things Dodger baseball. We'll talk later during the 7th inning stretch. Today's Dodgers Dugout Live poll question of the show, I asked you guys over on the X, would you be fine if the Dodgers just ran it back with the same outfielders they have heading into this season? Are you fine with the Dodgers not making any major outfield additions? And right now, 46% say yes, while 54% say no. So let us know down below in the comments section. I think there's a lot of differing opinions on if the Dodgers need to be that aggressive to adding an outfielder. I've given you my thoughts for the last few months, but I'm interested to hear yours. So let us know down below in the comment section. But it is a Monday. There's so much to talk about in the world of Dodger baseball. So let's get right into it.
Leading off, the hottest story in Dodger baseball.
All right, so the hottest story in Dodger baseball is MLB Network Radio's Jim Duquette. He revealed that the Los Angeles Dodgers, the Toronto Blue Jays, and the New York Mets have all met with Kyle Tucker, either in person or through a video conference. So the Dodgers clearly this late in the offseason, this late in Kyle Tucker's free agency, are still involved. They're still interested in signing him. He's still interested in hearing what they have to say. And we also know now that the New York Mets, at least right now, aren't a team that is looking to sign Kyle Tucker on one of these massive 10, 11-year deals for $350 to $400 million. And then the question is, what kind of deal are the Toronto Blue Jays willing to give Kyle Tucker? Are they in the 10-year, $400 million range? I believe that based on the year he had, where up until the injury that he suffered, up until that injury, where it looked like it was going to be a fringe-ish MVP season for Kyle Tucker, up until then, I think that a $400 million contract was in play. I mean, it certainly was. He got off to a really, really strong start through the end of May. He had 12 home runs already. He was hitting 283, had a 520 slug. Then he jammed his right hand while diving into second base. He was trying to make a steal, but then the season just wasn't the same. He ended up hitting 189 with one home run in 38 games from the start of July to the middle of the August month. And then it was just kind of a whatever season for Kyle Tucker. It wasn't the MVP-ish. It wasn't the, we're going to go win a Silver Slugger type of season for Kyle Tucker. So if you're a team out there, are you comfortable giving a guy that hit 266 and was 36% above league average $400 million? I mean, look at the numbers that some of these other guys put up when they were entering their monster free agency year. Juan Soto, before he signed that $700+ million deal with the New York Mets, before Juan Soto signed that deal with the Mets that was groundbreaking, 15 years for $765 million. What kind of year did he have? He was 81% above league average. He had 41 home runs. I don't need to tell you Shohei Ohtani's numbers before you signed with the Dodgers. It was an elite season. So if Kyle Tucker thinks he's going to get $400 million, well, then that means that the Blue Jays are desperate to get back to the World Series and win the World Series. After being just inches away of beating the Dodgers in Game 7 last year, maybe they're saying, hey, a bat like Kyle Tucker improves this team. Here's $400 million. But my point is, if the Mets aren't going 400, if the Blue Jays aren't going 400, the Dodgers make the most sense. The Dodgers are like that team. You're at the gym and you're on the treadmill and you look to your left and there's that dude who just keeps going at that steady pace. He's going at like a 5 or a 6, but he keeps going and going and going and going. And then the Mets are a team that they start at 9 and they can only do it for a few minutes. And then they kind of taper off and they're exhausted and they have to get off. And the Blue Jays, they don't know what they want to do. They want to go at a 9 or a 10, or do they want to go at a 5 or a 6? But the Dodgers are just going to be steady on that treadmill. And more often than not, the teams get off that treadmill before the Dodgers do. The Dodgers stay on that treadmill and they outlast teams and they usually get their guy. Now, I still think at the end of the day, it makes sense for Kyle Tucker just to sign the biggest bag he can. And if the Toronto Blue Jays are above $300 million, I think that it makes sense for him to get his money and sign that deal and get that generational wealth. But if he's looking to truly get that $400 million deal, if he doesn't have it on the table right now, I've said it before, I'm not even going to get into all the top 5 or 10 reasons why he should sign with the Dodgers. Here's it in the simplest form. If he were to go to the Dodgers on a deal where he can opt out after the first year, if he puts together the kind of season that he was on pace to having before he got injured, he is going to be able to either sign for $400 million or take that $40 million that he'll get from the Dodgers, combine it with $350 million or $360 million, and get to $400 million for a lifetime earnings of north of 400, could even surpass 500 million someday. So if it's about the money and the long-term play, bet on yourself. Bet on yourself if you are Kyle Tucker. We got Roseman Carino, D-Mac with his analogies. Look, I mean it. The Dodgers don't get off the treadmill. They go on their steady pace. They stay on that treadmill. Mets, Blue Jays might fall off. We got Josh Group go out and sign Kyle Tucker and Bo and really ruin baseball. I don't think you want to do that because you want to log jam every single position. I don't think the Dodgers are going to sign Kyle Tucker and Bo Bichette. And I don't even think it's a good idea to sign both Kyle Tucker and Bo Bichette. I think Bo Bichette ultimately signs the Philadelphia Phillies. He's got a relationship with Don Mattingly. They're willing to pay him. I think it's only a matter of time before we get that announcement. All right, so we'll talk some more Kyle Tucker, but that's what you need to know. The Dodgers have met with Kyle Tucker and just lay it out there. 1, Dodgers need outfield help. Dodgers want to add an outfielder. Dodgers are trying to improve a position that in its totality as a whole was a bottom third performing unit in all of Major League Baseball. Andy Paz, Teoscar Hernandez. Even with that kind of talent, they want to improve that position. Think about this. If you were to run it back, think about all the ifs. I don't like big ifs. I like things that you can get to as close as you can to certainty. And if you run it back, you have to say if Teoscar Hernandez has a bounce back year, if Andy Pages continues to grow as a hitter. After the All-Star break last year, he was about 4% above league average offensively. Wasn't great. If Tommy Tanks' ankle doesn't give out on him. If Ryan Ward becomes the hitter that we hope that he can be. If Alex Call can do something for you. If Josue DePaula lives up to the hype and comes up later in the season and is able to produce. Those are way too many ifs. And I think for a team that is as locked in as the Dodgers, you can't have that many ifs. If ifs and buts were candy and nuts, everyone would have a Merry Christmas, right? The truth of the matter is you have a chance at three-peat. You have a win now roster. You got to get some sure things, at least one sure thing. Kyle Tucker is a sure thing to be a offensive threat that can hit at an all-star level. No guarantee Pajes is going to be an all-star. No guarantee Taylor's going to be an all-star again. No guarantee for the rest of that stuff. Give me the sure thing. If Kyle Tucker is out there, I don't want him for 10 years. Don't want him for 5. I want him for one elite season. And then we'll put you back. We'll take that duck and put him back in the pond and go sign your money and get that deal. Now, let's keep it moving here. I want all your thoughts on Kyle Tucker. Let me know what you think about Alex Bregman going to the Chicago Cubs. So Alex Bregman goes to the Cubs. He signed a 5-year, $175 million deal. He's 32 years old. I think it's a good deal for Alex Bregman. I think it's a good deal for the Chicago Cubs. And I think this is pure stupidity by the Boston Red Sox. Okay, everyone out there, give me an LOL. Give me a laugh emoji. I like the sideways crying emoji. That's my number one most used emoji. It's not the laughing, just with the straight up with the tears. I need to be sideways, like I'm absolutely crying laughter. That's my most used one. And we could all do that to the Boston Red Sox. The laughing, crying emoji where the head is tilting because that is the most extreme laughing. What exactly are the Boston Red Sox doing? And why exactly am I talking about this as it pertains to the Los Angeles Dodgers? Well, there's 2 reasons why. One, I think this could give you some sense of what Cody Bellinger is possibly not looking for. We know he's looking for. It's too much. But what he might eventually sign for. And it kind of starts to set the market for the Bo Bichettes, and not necessarily set, but gives you an idea of what bigger name free agents are signing for. 5 years, $175 million for a 32-year-old player, all-star hitter, good defender. The way this also relates to the Los Angeles Dodgers and why we should all post that crying face laughter emoji is think about the timeline here. Alex Bregman signed with the Boston Red Sox. That pissed off Rafael Devers. That made Devers despondent. Borderline insubordinate, it felt like at times. It pissed off their best player because there was no communication with Rafael Devers because they signed Alex Bregman. And Devers, who was once believed to be this big, all-time great Red Sox player, a guy that they signed on a 10-year, $313 million deal. He was going to be a generational talent for them, a player that was going to be in that organization for the duration of his career. But the Red Sox didn't tell their best player they were bringing in Alex Bregman, who, mind you, played his position, third base. And then what ultimately happens is Rafael Devers gets traded from the Boston Red Sox to the San Francisco Giants for Kyle Harrison, Jordan Hicks, and James Tibbs. And then the Red Sox trade James Tibbs to the Dodgers for Dustin May. And then Alex Bregman opts out. Dustin May signs with the St. Louis Cardinals. And Alex Bregman signs with the Chicago Cubs. And the Red Sox get what? Nothing. Kyle Harrison? I mean, think about this. Think about how wild that is. The Dodgers ended up with the best piece in all of that, essentially, as far as prospects go, with Tibbs going to the Dodgers, a guy that's continued to emerge in the outfield as a prospect for LA, for Dustin May, a pitcher that they didn't love that wasn't going to be back here anyway. So Alex Bregman is a Chicago Cub. And then that brings me to Cody Bellinger and Kyle Tucker and the New York Yankees. Do we need to do a laugh emoji for the pinstripes now? This is from Buster Olney about where the Yankees are at. It says, quote, the Yankees don't appear to have a plan B ready. They don't appear to have a plan B. And outfielder Kyle Tucker is too expensive. Infielder Bo Bichette is almost certainly headed to the Phillies, where Don Mattingly, his former bench coach in Toronto, will assume that same role. And that is where the Yankees are at. So the Yankees are reportedly out on Kyle Tucker. And then here's where the Yankees are at on Cody Bellinger. This is from Buster Only as well. The Yankees have offered Bellinger a 5-year deal for at least $30 million per season, sources said, which falls in the range of deals that other star hitters received this winter. Pete Alonso signed a 5-year, $155 million deal with the Baltimore Orioles, and Kyle Schwarber signed a 5-year, $150 million deal to return to the Philadelphia Phillies. Bellinger's camp, he is represented by Scott Boras, is seeking a deal longer than 5 years and worth more in average annual value than the $30 million per season he has been offered. So this is big. And I know some people are ABC, anyone but Cody. But the reason why this is still relevant to the Dodgers is, where exactly is the market for Cody Bellinger if it's not in New York? If the New York Yankees, a team that had a lot of success with Bellinger, taking advantage of that short porch, if they're not willing to sign him, are the Mets really going to sign him? That seems like it could be a possibility if they are not able to get Kyle Tucker. But it just makes you wonder if it's a possibility. Now, the Dodgers are somewhat interested in Cody Bellinger. They're not interested in him on any of those contracts that he wants. If he wants 5 years, $150 million, if he wants 4 years, something that makes more sense at around $30 million per season, they certainly would be interested. But if his market totally craters and Kyle Tucker goes to the Toronto Blue Jays, if I'm Scott Boras, I almost think at that point you have to pick up the phone, seeing what the Dodgers are willing to offer. And that is how you can kind of get those contracts, right? Typically when the Dodgers sign someone that they're not originally expected to get, it's when their market craters. See Freddie Freeman, did not get the deal he wanted from the Atlanta Braves, ends up signing with the Dodgers. And then you have to factor this as well. If I'm Scott Boras and I'm Cody Bellinger, I look at his history. He signed a 1-year, $17.5 million deal in 2022. After he had left the Dodgers, he was non-tendered. And then it had a $12.5 million salary for 2023, a $5 million mutual option. And then he ends up not picking up that option, but he ended up re-signing with the Cubs in 2024 on a 3-year, $80 million deal with the opt-outs after the first year and the second year of the contract. And then he got a $30 million deal in 2024 and 2025. And if he did not opt out, he would have gotten $20 million from the Yankees in 2026. So Cody Bellinger's history has proven that doesn't matter what Scott Boras is doing at Boras Corp. Doesn't matter the data he's putting together. Doesn't matter the PowerPoint presentations and the slides and all the information he's presenting to teams, because you want to know how good of a player you are, you want to know about what teams think your value is, show me the money, right? It's not show me the money, it's show me the contract offers, right? And so far we know with Cody Bellinger is teams don't see him like he sees himself, like Scott Boras sees him. This doesn't mean he's a bad player by any stretch, but there's always going to be concerns about his inconsistency. There's always going to be some concerns about the injuries. There are always going to be some concerns about, does he revert to the guy that was slumping even before he had the shoulder injury in 2020, a high variance player? That's true. But I will say this, though. If you were to give me Cody Bellinger or Jarren Duran, give me Cody Bellinger, not even worth talking about. Bellinger is a much better, more consistent hitter. Over the last 3 years since he left LA, he's been 35% above league average, 108, which is 8% above league average, and a 25% above league average season. Since he left LA, he's had a 26 homer season, 18 homer season, 29 homer season. He can play above average defense in the outfield. He can play Gold Glove level first base. So if it's Cody Bellinger versus parting ways with key prospects for a Jarren Duran or Wilyer Abreu, a Luis Robert Jr., a Steven Kwan, let me flex my financial muscle and get him at my price, and then it starts to make sense. Because the thing about Cody Bellinger is I still think that he could be a 25% above league average hitter. I still think he could be a 30% above league average hitter batting in this lineup because he's more contact oriented. He doesn't strike out as much. And here's the thing, is I'm going to tie this all together. What would you rather have? Would you rather have Cody Bellinger that's 25% above league average, but playing a key position, being an above average defensive outfielder, a position of need, or Bo Bichette at 30% above league average offensively, but playing at second base where he's going to be locked into that position most likely, and he's probably going to be average to maybe slightly above average as a defender, but not playing at a position of need because you still have Tommy Edman, Miguel Rojas, Hae-Sung Kim, could get Kike Hernandez back, and then you have Andy Ibanez as well. So think about that. Would you rather have a little bit less productive offensive version of Cody Bellinger than Bo Bichette? Or would you rather have Bo Bichette, who's a little better of an offensive threat, but doesn't play at a premium position? Give me Cody Bellinger all day, every day in that scenario. So that is just kind of where we're at. And I hope I laid that out for you. And what I can tell you is there is some interest in Cody Bellinger. Is it over the moon? No. It's, hey, I'm posting up my defender and I'm waiting for the rebound. I'm playing the backboard, right? I'm trying to get that putback dunk maybe, right? Offensive rebounds are more important than defensive rebounds a lot of times, right? And I just look at that market starting to shrink up, and Belly just doesn't typically get what he's after. Soto got what he was after because he's Juan Soto. Shohei Ohtani dictated the terms of his contract because of who he is and what his career goals were. Alex Bregman got himself a good deal because of his offensive ability in the position he played, right? Not all players, not all contracts are created equal. And I still think that for my Belly Evers out there, don't stop Belly even until he signs with another team. But I can tell you it's worth discussing because it's still, at least even on a smaller level, in play. All right, we got some more news to get into. We got some more news. It's a Monday. Love me Mondays. Hey, people hate Mondays. Here's my two hot takes. We'll do our hot take segment. 2 non-baseball hot takes. I love Mondays, 1. And 2, I love traffic in LA. I know that's the weirdest take, but I love traffic in LA because I can listen to my podcast. I can listen to music. I can call my mom, my friends, my coworkers. I'm not going to do that when I'm at the pad sitting down my couch, right? At my couch, I'm watching games. I'm playing Mario Kart on Switch 2. I'm watching reruns of the 2020 for in 2025 World Series. I'm watching 90s Lakers highlights, right? So that's my hot take. Like, if traffic was like 5 minutes, I don't know what I would do. Like, I don't know where I don't know how I would listen to all my podcasts, all my stuff. So that's my hot take. You guys call me crazy. I actually like traffic. Robert, I mean, what do you thought? I know this has got to be a sore subject for you because you got like an hour-long commute.
Yeah.
And, you know, I've had some long commutes, but I don't know, what do you do in the car when you're stuck in traffic, Rob Dog?
I mean, yeah, I'm a big podcast guy. Yeah, sometimes I do just call my moms, you know what I'm saying? Or even, listen to this show. Listen to Dodgers Dugout Live.
You know what? Give this man a raise. Give this man a raise, man. I love it. Hey, by the way, I loved Nikki Glazer's jokes on Leo last night.
Oh, yeah, that Golden Globes. Yeah, that was crazy.
It's like, Leo, you accomplished all of this before before your girl even turned 30.
Yeah.
Yeah. The classic Leonardo DiCaprio stuff. So I love that. All right, switching gears. Let's go to some other news that we'll get into. And that is that Freddie Freeman is not going to be participating in the WBC. So Freddie Freeman, who plays for Team Canada, he withdrew from the World Baseball Classic. He's opted to withdraw. This is from Shi Davidi from Sportsnet. It's the first time since 2013 that he will not play for Team Canada. Seattle Mariners first baseman Josh Naylor is going to take on his role at first base with Freddie Freeman out. Freddie Freeman is open to what this feels like. Just get out 100% physically. Make sure that he is ready to roll for the upcoming season. And now this makes another Dodgers player not playing in the WBC. We saw Teoscar Hernandez not going to play for the Dominican Republic. He is someone that is hoping to have a big bounce back season. And now Freddie Freeman, who loves to play for Team Canada. And it's a way that he represents his mom, who passed away when he was young. Freddie Freeman actually, of course, is eligible to play. And I'm pretty sure that they did not try to fight that at all, right? They're like, hey, Freddie Freeman want to play for us? Absolutely. But he was born in Fountain Valley on September 12, 1989. He's 36 years old. I think what this says to me is the Dodgers are hungrier than ever because they have a chance to win 3 straight World Series titles, something that's only been done by 2 other organizations. The New York Yankees, they've had some 4-peats and some 5-peats, and they had a 3-peat from 98 to 2000, and then the Oakland A's from 72 to 74. And I think, too, Freddie wants to continue his career as long as he possibly can. I've talked to Freddie about this on a couple different occasions about wanting to reach that 3,000 hit plateau. Right now, he has 2,431 hits in his 16-year MLB career. He's still under contract with the Dodgers for a couple more seasons. So if you do the math on Freddie, he still needs 569 hits to get to 3,000. Last year, he got 164 hits in 147 games, 627 plate appearances. If you replicated last year, which was the same, I mean, for Freddie, 150, 160, if he's healthy, he's going to hit that mark. He's going to need to do that if he wants to hit 3,000. If he does that for 4 more seasons, he's going to get it. But let's say he does that for 3 more seasons, that puts him at 492. Oh, and that would still be under the 3,000 hit threshold. So he really needs to play 4 more seasons at 164 hits per year, and he has 2 more years left on his contract. So when that contract ends after the upcoming season, if he signs a 2-year deal with the Dodgers, he's going to probably get 3,000 hits. Now, if he goes crazy and we see a all-star MVP-ish season from Freddie Freeman, the most hits he's ever had in a season was 211 with the Los Angeles Dodgers, by the way, because he's had his best years in LA. If he did that, well, He could do it in 3 years. So he would only need to play one more year after his final year of his contract. But yeah, just throwing it out there. I think that he wants to get 3,000 hits. He wants to win another World Series. And he also just wants, I think, to be really a good player throughout the entirety of his contract. How many guys can you really say that about where there was no fall off? And yes, it's a 6-year deal, which is a lot easier than when you sign a 10 or 12-year deal, right? Or something like that. But I think that means a lot to Freddie Freeman, just going out there and playing well for the duration of that contract. But coming up next, we are going to look at the 40-man roster. I've got 5 things you need to know about Andy Ibanez. And does this mean the end of Kike Hernandez with the Dodgers because of this recent acquisition? I'm going to tell you why or why not. That's coming up next on Dodgers Dugout Live. Welcome to the Dodgers Nation Podcast Network, your front row seat to everything Dodgers all season long. Home of the #1 Dodgers podcast in the world, Dodgers Dugout Live, hosted by me, Doug McKain. Friends call me D-Mac, and we cover everything about your boys in blue, everything you need to know about Dodger baseball in less than an hour. We've got breaking news, post-game breakdowns, roster updates, trade rumors, in-depth player analysis, Dodgers trivia, you name it. Whether it's a wild walk-off at the Ravine, a key call-up from OKC, we've got the insight, we got the coverage, and we're here for you all year long. We're the #1 Dodgers site on every platform, and we're born and based in LA. We're loyal to the soil. Dodger baseball is what we do. Trusted by tens of thousands of daily listeners, Dodgers Nation is more than just recaps. We are LA. Whether you're in Echo Park or out in the Valley, Beverly Hills, whatever it is, if you bleed blue, this pod's for you. The more you guys subscribe, the bigger we can build, and we can do this together. So stay up to date with our Dodgers Nation post-game shows and breakdowns and podcasts. You can listen while you're lifting, while you're in traffic, or while pretending to answer work emails. We won't tell. Subscribe now on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your baseball fix. So if you're a new listener or a longtime listener to the podcast, write us a review and we'll read it on the show. Join the conversation, stay ahead of the game, and never miss a pitch with the Dodgers Nation Podcast Network. And welcome back to Dodgers Dugout Live, the #1 Dodgers podcast and Dodgers show on YouTube. Got a super chat here. Show some love to the super chat. Z Corp Alpha. $9.99. Appreciate that. It's going towards the Kyle Tucker fund. It's going towards the Belly fund. It's going towards the Harrison Bader fund, the Bo Bichette fund. We need another free agent, okay? It's been like 2 weeks before a big Dodgers move. Been a month. We haven't seen anything since Edwin Diaz. Give us something, Andrew. Come on. It's like the meme. Do something. He says, mindset about MLB lockout coming up. Look, speaking to insiders around the sport, speaking to people within the game, we just had Bob Nightingale on the show. I think that if there's a lockout, sure, it's concerning, but it doesn't mean that it's going to push back the start of when pitchers and catchers report. Doesn't mean that they're going to push back on the start of the season. Doesn't mean that you're going to miss games or have a player strike or anything like that. I think for me, what really has stood out is the big TV contracts that they've signed recently, and the Dodgers are a big reason why I think that the game is healthy. But if you go and you have a lockout right now during peak Shohei Ohtani time and Aaron Judge time, and coming off a World Series that had 51 million viewers at a time when the NBA has struggled with its ratings, where it's very competitive to get eyeballs in this day and age. If Major League Baseball had a lockout, it could set this sport back by a decade at least. Like, it could be that damaging. Nobody wants to hear about millionaires arguing with billionaires, no matter what the circumstances are, whether it be salary cap, salary floor, revenue sharing, the Dodgers deferring contracts as long as other teams can do that too. It does not matter. Fans tune out. They do not care. They will find other things to watch, other things to attend, other places to go. And yes, it's pretty nuanced and complicated as far as what they're going to be after. But as far as missing time, I just don't think they are. I think it'd be too catastrophic to the game. Major League Baseball has come too far just to come this far based on where they were. And I just don't think they will. It's going to get ugly. But I think that the powers that be will understand that it's going to help you make money. It's going to help me make money. And that's what this is all about. That's ultimately what dictates when deals get done. We've got some more super chats. BC, plus he wants to three-peat. Freddie was 12 when the Lakers did it. Now he wants a chance for LA sports immortality. Yeah, we'll talk some more Freddie Freeman in a little bit, but I did want to get back to Andy Ibanez. Andy Ibanez, the Dodgers' newest player that they did acquire. And if you are scrolling through X, scrolling through Twitter, it's always going to be Twitter to me, and you're looking for that official move, well, the truth is the Dodgers still have to make a move to make that move official. The Dodgers signed Andy Ibanez. It was first reported by Francis Romero. And because of that signing, the Dodgers 40-man roster is full. So here for today's high five, we got 5 things you need to know about Andy Ibanez and how that's going to impact the Dodgers roster.
The High Five. D-Mac's Top 5.
All right, 1. He played for the Cuban national baseball team of the 2013 World Baseball Classic. He played for Isla de la Juventud in the Cuban National Series. He defected from Cuba on November 1st, 2014, and he ended up signing a minor league deal with the Texas Rangers on July 7, 2015. And what you need to know about him is this is a guy that's made his way through the ranks. One thing I always loved doing when the Dodgers acquire a new player that you don't know much about is I like to find out the names of their minor league teams. I love minor league team names. I love it. The Chihuahuas, teams like that. Well, he played for the Hickory Crawdads. That's like an 8 out of 10 already. The Frisco Rough Riders, which I think is a banger of a name for a minor league team. And then ultimately he makes his way up. Now, next thing you need to know is he played 5 seasons in the majors with the Rangers and the Tigers. He's a below average hitter as a whole, so you need to know that. He's not above average offensive player. He had 239, 301, 352 with 4 home runs, 8 doubles, and an 84 weighted runs created plus in 193 plate appearances for the Detroit Tigers. But the next thing you need to know is that he is better against lefties than he is against righties. He is a 280 hitter with a 115 weighted runs created plus against left-handed pitchers. Against righties, he's a 232 hitter with a 74 weighted runs created plus. So it's pretty interesting. It's pretty interesting because what is Kike Hernandez better at? That is, he's better against lefties than he is against righties. And you look at the year that Kike Hernandez had last year. Yes, he was dealing with injuries, but last season he was a 72 OPS plus player. So he was 28% below league average offensively. Andy Ibanez, as a player, was a 81 OPS plus. Yes, it was in 193 plate appearances, which is kind of a decent-ish sample size. But technically, he was a better regular season hitter than Kike Hernandez was. And he does similar things as far as he's better against right-handed pitching. Against left-handed pitching than he is against right-handed pitching, right? He's better against southpaws if you want to play that matchup. Now, does this mean that Kike Hernandez is not going to be a Dodger? I don't think that this means that in the least. But what I do think it means is that a lot like we saw last year where Michael Conforto was brought in and Kike was always going to be a bench bat and get those occasional starts, be a depth piece, play when you need him to play if there was injuries. But what ended up happening, though, Michael Conforto played mostly in left field. Kike came off the bench, did get those occasional starts. You saw him at third base. You saw him mixed around the diamond. But then who was your left fielder come postseason? It was Kike Hernandez. Now, this is a different situation because Ibanez is in the infield, but this could be hey, he is going to play in the regular season and he's going to allow you to rehab, and that there's this wink, wink type of deal that Kike has with the Dodgers to when spring training starts and when pitchers and catchers report, and when that opens up that 60-day IL, then you can make the transaction, place him there, and then Ibanez can be your depth piece and a guy that can contribute for you as the season goes along. So I don't think that this means that Kike is not coming back, because as Andrew Friedman told me in Orlando, the door is always open for Kike, but he also told me this, that he's a really good player in his role, and he's sure that the door is probably open for Kike for other teams. I've heard that Kike is coming back. I expect him to be back. At the beginning of the season, no. At some point during the regular season, I would say the answer is yes. And I think that Ibanez kind of impacts Kike a little bit in the sense that you want a guy to balance out the lineup as far as a right-handed hitter who's good against lefties. But I don't think in the long run that that's a guy that's a threat to him as far as his role potentially in the postseason. Now, Kike has to come back and prove he can still play well. They're not just going to blindly put him on a postseason roster without seeing anything from him throughout the regular season. But you would have to believe that that is the ultimate goal for this team, knowing what he means to this club offensively, defensively, in the clubhouse, in the dugout. Vibes, his X vibes are in the 100th percentile on his Baseball Savant page. So I don't think that it means that. So the next thing you need to know about Andy Ibanez is last year he played mostly third base with the Detroit Tigers, but the majority of his career he's played at second base. He's also started 29 games at first base, and he's made 4 starts in left field and 3 starts in right field. So he is that Swiss Army knife type of player that the Dodgers covet. Can't play some corner outfield spots right and left and every single position. The infield essentially does not play shortstop really, but you see first base, second base, and third base. So you kind of squint your eyes like, is that Kike Hernandez out there or what? Right? So it's kind of something like that. Next thing to know, he would have been a Super 2. So he turns 33 in April. He was non-tendered by the Tigers in November with 3 years, 133 days of Major League service time. He would have been eligible for salary arb at $1.4 million in, that's kind of where he was at. So he at $1.4 million in 2025 as a Super 2 player, and he was projected to make $1.8 million in 2026 if he went through the arbitration process. So yeah, I mean, he was a Super 2 guy. So he did kind of build that up. And the last thing you need to know is he's out of options. And why this is so important is when you're out of options, the Dodgers have to keep you on that 26-man roster. He used option years in 2021, 2022, and in 2025. The Dodgers definitely need some position player depth. They certainly do. And that's why they made this acquisition, because they only have 15 position players on that 40-man roster. But there's some question marks, right? Even Tommy Edman is coming off right ankle surgery that he underwent in November. So we'll see how ready he is for opening day. That's another caveat in this too. Is this a Tommy Edman insurance policy, which it possibly could be? But now let's look at the 40-man roster. What are they going to do to get Andy Ibanez on it? Are there DFA candidates? Could they be making a trade? Who would those DFA candidates be? I think when you look at this 40-man roster, we're going to have Ryan Ward on the show tomorrow. That's exciting. I don't think they DFA Ryan Ward. After everything they put him through, PCL, Offensive Player of the Year, they're going to give him an opportunity potentially during spring training. But Ryan Ward is a guy that still has to prove himself in this organization. Michael Ciani is an interesting one to me. Bats left, he throws left. He really is a guy that can play a Justin Dean type of role where he's a late game defensive substitution. He is not a threat with the bat, is fast though. He could certainly be a DFA candidate, Michael Ciani. And you look at the rest of this roster on the position player side, Andy Paz, Teoscar Hernandez, Alex Call, they agreed to deal with him to avoid arbitration. Bill Rojas is back. Max Muncy, Hae-Sung Kim, Freddie Freeman, Alex Freeland, Ryan Fitzgerald, Tommy Edman, Mookie Betts, Will Smith, Dalton Rushing, and Shohei Ohtani. So of those guys, you like what you saw from Freeland as a piece. Do you consider trading him in a bigger piece to get an outfielder? Or do you consider trading him like you traded Michael Bush to get some prospects that you don't have to keep on the 40-man roster that you develop just like you did when you traded Michael Bush for Jackson Ferris and Zaire Hope? Is he a candidate for that? And then you look at the pitching side, you've got some interesting names on the back end, like Bobby Miller, like Landon Knack, Ronan Kopp, names like that. Are those guys that you'd also consider to see what the market looks like for them? And are they throw-ins in a potential deal if you don't sign Kyle Tucker, you don't sign Cody Bellinger, and you get those prospects, those lottery tickets that do not have to take up a spot in the 40-man they use to replenish your roster? Because remember, they had to forfeit some draft picks when they signed Edwin Diaz because he rejected the qualifying offer. So that is how organizations like the Dodgers continue to have one of the best farm systems in baseball, is because they're able to acquire high upside prospects other ways, right? The Dodgers, they can go thrifting, they can go to the department store, they can go to garage sales, they can go on eBay, they can go on Amazon, they can go to Rodeo Drive, or they can go to Ross, right? Like, they find talent every which way, right? They can spot talent, they can identify talent out of the window of a moving train. So I wouldn't be surprised if they don't have the next Mike Sirota or the next Jackson Ferris or the next Zaire Hope already circled and saying, hey, you know what? Let's move one of these guys, and that'll free up a roster spot. So I wouldn't be overly concerned about this. I really wouldn't, just because it's January 11th. And sometimes in the early parts of January, before we hit February, before the roster is really finalized, they still have work to do. I would only be concerned about this or think that it was more serious or important had they kind of made their move. But they know what they're doing, right? They understand the puzzle pieces and the way things are moving. But my big takeaway for you is this, though. All of this points to they're still going to get an outfielder. They're still going to go get a guy. And just to revisit the poll question of the show, I asked you guys over on the X, would you be fine if the Dodgers did not make any major outfield additions? 40% say yes and 60% say no. Well, I would say 100% the Dodgers are going to get an outfielder, whether it be a trade, whether it be through free agency. Don't discount the deeper ends here. The Harrison Baders, the Wilyer Abreus, the guys like that. We still have those moves to be made. And I think that is ultimately what the Andy Ibanez acquisition will tell you about the rest of the way through for the Dodgers. But all right, coming up next, we've got the 7th inning stretch. That's where I answer all of your thoughts, comments, and questions about your boys in blue. Let me get your takes on my hot takes. I like traffic. I like Mondays. Let me know down below. And also all things Dodger baseball. It's going to be a good one. We're looking for a comment of the show too. Who's going to make us laugh? Big Dog Rob. That's coming up next on Dodgers Dugout Live.
The 7th inning stretch.
All right, we got a super chat, $1.99, no message. So I love that. He's like, you know what?
Yeah.
Hey, man.
Just showing love.
Just showing love, man. Just, you know, making it rain on me with $1.99.
Yeah.
Like, the dollar bill was cool. The 99 cents kind of hurt, because it's like a bunch of pennies and things, like, you know what I mean? Making it, but I appreciate that. I'll give you a Dodger for life. We got, I love this. This just really hit for me. This is like a sleeper comment of the show contender. I'm ready for a Dodger dog and a cold beer. That just sounds great. The question is, though, are you going to poke a hole in the middle of the Dodger dog and put it in the beer and drink it like that one crazy fan?
Yo.
That was definitely a bruh for sure. No doubt about it. We got Deucey's about to drink a cold one right now. Hey, man, you clearly, doesn't matter if you like Mondays or not, man. You're day drinking on a Monday at 12:50. Diabolical. Respect, though, baby. Ruben, the Blue Jays were reporting that Kyle Tucker was on a plane heading to Toronto this past weekend.
Finish him.
Love it. I love it. What up, Dodger Nation? Never take for granted what we have in enjoying our boys in blue and what it means to all who love the Dodgers. Dodger for life. DFA War would be the dumbest ish ever. They're not going to do that, as I said. He's going to be on the show tomorrow, so I'm excited to have Ryan Ward on the show, and we'll learn all about him. If you guys have any questions you want me to ask Ryan Ward, let me know down below. We've got, is DMAC going live for the LA Sports Report today? Yes, we will be live at 2, talking Rams, talking Chargers, Lakers. We'll talk some more Dodgers, any news that breaks. We'll have it over there. So if you're a Dodgers fan and you're subscribed to this show, you got to subscribe to the LA Sports Report because we're doing a lot of Dodgers talk over there. And when there's a story that breaks later or earlier, it's going to be on there. Josh Witt, hear me out, DMAC. We get Bo for $180 million. We trade Edman and Hope for Buxton and move Paz to right and Teo and left. Bonus take, would they ever use Ohtani in center and Teo in the DH just for this year? I like what you're throwing out there. I like ideas. I like things that are fresh, things that are new. And you bring up some interesting topics because I think to start with Bo, $180 million, I think that you just kind of accept the fact that Bo wants to be a Philly because he wants to reunite with Don Mattingly, stay on the East Coast. He's from Florida. He kind of looks and feels like a Philly at this point to me. So, I mean, we could just end it with that. But Tommy Edman, would you want to trade him coming off an injury, coming off a down year? The trade value would be down. You wouldn't get that much in return. You might even have to pay off some of that money and include in the deal. So I'm keeping Tommy Tanks. And also Hope for Buxton. Sure. Would I include Zaire Hope in a deal for Byron Buxton? Sign me up. I love me some Zaire Hope. Trust me, I do. But if Byron Buxton would be willing to waive his no trade clause and come to the Dodgers, especially on his current contract at 2 years, $45 million, what's left of it, absolutely, I'd do that deal. I just don't think it's going to happen. But moving Paz to right and Teo to left, that's very obvious as far as what they could and should do. I anticipate Teo starting in left and the Dodgers having a different right fielder, whether it be Andy Paz, whether that be Kyle Tucker, whether it be a Cody Bellinger, whether it be someone they traded for, that remains to be seen. But I think they understand at this point that even if Teo is healthy and ready to go, that it just makes more sense having him in left field because doubles in left aren't triples, right? If they're misplayed. Doubles in right that are misplayed end up as triples, right? He can hurt you less in left than he can if he's playing right field. But the last one is the most interesting. You say, would they ever use Ohtani in center and Teo at the DH spot? I would say the answer to that is no this year or even ever, just because by the time they would even be considering Shohei in the outfield, which would mean that his pitching career essentially would be over, Teo would be gone, right? He only has 2 more years left on his deal, so I just don't anticipate that. I think Shohei Ohtani is going to have a massive season on the mound. I saw ESPN say he was going to win the Cy Young, which I hope that doesn't happen because I want to see these guys fresh and ready to go for the postseason. I mean, if it happens on the right circumstances, sure, but are they really going to push Shohei like that in the regular season as a pitcher? It'd be special, and it's something he's never done, so there's always the thought of that. But to me, we've learned these regular season awards, these MVPs, these Cy Youngs, all this stuff, it really, for what this team is trying to do, the history they're trying to make, it would still be deemed a failure. Shohei could win the MVP, the Cy Young. They can win 120 games. They can make it a Game 7 of the World Series, but if they lose that game, the only way that history is going to tell that story for the Dodgers is if they three-peat. So that is the priority for sure. We've got Leonardo Blanco. Hey, D-Mac, what happened to Benny C? Why do you think he wasn't utilized in the playoffs? I mean, I think what happened to Ben Kasparius really is that he was just used too much in too many different roles in 2025. They made him a high leverage reliever, and then they tried to stretch him out to be a starter. He was going 4 innings, and they put him back to being a reliever. And then at that point, I think that just the role wasn't perfect for him. I mean, he went from throwing 8 1/3 innings in 2024 in pitching in 3 games to pitching 77 2/3 innings and pitching in 46 games in 2025. So I still think the way this stuff plays, if you look at Stuff Plus, some of the more advanced metrics, he's got a lively fastball. He's really nasty. I think that he's someone that if things trend in the wrong direction, he also could be the odd man out. But I expect him to have a big bounce back year in 2025. And I think if you're Ben, you've really, and I've talked to him about this, he's always willing to do whatever the Dodgers ask of him. Whatever the Dodgers ask him to do, he's willing to do. If they want him to start, sure. Relieve, sure. Close games, sure. Clean up the dugout, sure. Like, do whatever they ask of him is his mindset, his mentality. So I think the Dodgers kind of owe him to kind of put him in a role that one's going to be conducive to his success, and then vice versa too. You want to get the best version of Ben Kasparius, which has the potential to really help your ball club win a lot of games. I mean, he's really nasty when he's right. Love me some Benny C. We've got, did Conforto retire? I mean, I think if Conforto retires, he's not retiring from the game of baseball. The game of baseball is retiring from him. So I think that's what would happen. No, I love you some Michael Conforto. Like, I bottled up my Michael Conforto takes all year. I mean, you know, like, so, we got anyone. Okay, I like this. T-Rex. Anyone else excited for the Tower Buzzers? I am. I like the name. It's growing on me. Cody, the Mets will offer Bo 6 years, $600 million contract to help Soto out. We got backed up traffic means it's easier to eat a torta. Come on now. Bruh. Give you a bruh there. Give you a bruh there for sure. I love traffic, but hey, man, here's my advice. Never eat tortas and drive. Okay? That's just something I don't do, and would not recommend. We got James. Bo would be great for a youth movement, but I'm more worried about our outfield than our infield. No doubt about it. Bilal K. What's up, Bilal? I like Bilal because my brain is on caps lock too. Like, I'm on all caps at all times, in bold, underlined, right? Bilal K is always in all caps. I love that. He's just screaming at me. Keep that caps lock on, Bilal. Do you, baby? He says, D-Mac, please slip a note to Friedman that if he signs Tucker, we won't need to sign no position player next season. So you're like, hey, man, maybe just one off season, you'll be able to take it off. That's something that kind of terrifies me, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, here's the thing, though. But why would that be the case? I mean, maybe if you give an opt-out after 2 years, which is something that you could consider with Cody Bellinger. But I think if I was Kyle Tucker, the only reason I would sign one of those front-loaded, bloated AAV type of deals where you're getting $40 to $45 million a year is with the freedom to opt out after every season, knowing that I'm just 30 years old and that I could retest the market and get that deal that I was hoping to get. We've got to Paul Gutierrez. Kim should be starting at second base and Edmonds starting in center field. Should be for sure. But Tommy Edmonds' outfield offense, I mean, his offense doesn't profile as really a center fielder necessarily. He's a guy that, is not a 15, 20 homer guy, things like that. He could be. I mean, he had a lot of power early on, so we're calling him Tommy Tanks. But I think his value is in his versatility, his ability to play multiple positions. Lock him into one position, it really diminishes his value. And Ha-Sung Kim's another guy that his offense doesn't really profile for a big league center fielder as well. So he's got to kind of work in. We've got we don't need Tucker, period. That's from JGTK. All right, I like it. I'm going the comment of the show. Let's hear a couple here. We got Evie, where we should go for Tucker, double win it as the Jays would get screwed over at the same time. Duh! Blue Jays lose. Oh, there's my comment of the show.
You win. Perfect.
All right, running out of time, so let's get to the walk-off.
The walk-off.
Hits the ball to right field. She is gone.
All right, so during the weekend, there was a tour at Dodger Stadium where a fan took a picture of a coyote. A coyote at Dodger Stadium. There we got it. Right there at the field level seats too. Looking back. Probably looking for some Dodger dogs, but the different kinds. And look, the Dodgers offense was really down throughout the postseason. Even the regular season, they had their issues. Lots of boom and bust. Struggling with runners in scoring position sometimes. Is this going to turn around the Dodgers offense? Have we discovered the rally coyote? If the season starts and the offense is better than ever, I'm going to look at this and say, maybe it's time for a mascot. Is this the mascot? You know what though? Look, I have coyotes in my neighborhood. I'm not gonna lie. I always go a different direction, but I'm just. Was he there looking for decoy? Hopefully not. Right? Like keep this dude away from decoy. Protect decoy by any means. But there he is. The advent of the. Is that something, guys? The Dodgers have no mascot. Do we need to have the rally coyote? The rally coyote. Remember the bear? I was kidding. Decoy's the mascot from Claudia. There we go. Yeah. Just change our team name. There's another comment of the show. The Los Angeles Coyotes. Hey, the hockey team, they moved to Utah. So, D-Mac, where's the Coyotes in Hollywood? They're all everywhere, man. By the way, I'm moving next week, guys, and I'm not telling you my new city or location. Okay.
I'm like, yeah, they figured it out in the chat. Like,
no, they figured it out, man. They be dropping my social security number, my PIN number, like all kinds of stuff, man. So yeah, my new one, my new residence is I'll let you say it's in Southern California. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say. Some people like it. The Dodger koala. We've got my uncle is a coyote. Okay, coyotes as a mascot will be fun. Los Angeles dogs.
Yeah, we need that dog in us, We
got that dog. There you go. Oh, a little fire take right there from my man Big Rob. But all right, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of Dodgers Dugout Live. My name is Doug McKain. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMac_LA. Special thanks to Big Dog Rob. Speaking of guys who got that dog in them, we got our guy producing today. We'll have Noel just got here. So, maybe you see him later on the LA Sports Report. So we'll check in with you guys a little bit later. So join us at the LA Sports Report. We'll talk more Dodgers. I got to talk some Rams. I got to talk about Justin Herbert. What is going on with the Padres of the NFL, aka the Chargers? So I'll talk about the Bolts later too. Talk some Lakers. That'll be in a little bit. But guys, thank you so much for making this the #1 Dodgers podcast and Dodgers show on YouTube. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the notification bell. Hit that like button for your back-to-back going to be 3-peat champion World Series Dodgers, and make sure that you remember, too, that nothing, absolutely nothing brings us together quite like Dodger baseball. And until next time, think blue, bleed blue, and I'm out.
Start the party, Los Angeles! Your Dodgers have won the World Series!
And when the upcoming winter gives way to spring, rest assured, once again, it will be time for Dodger baseball.